First up, picked up some yard tools. Amazon, runs off of a 20-volt battery, DeWalt. Hedge trimmer, runs off a 20-volt battery. And I just picked up a chipper, little cheap chipper. I'm not looking to do professional work. I don't want to have to haul debris off. So I can just chip it up, throw it behind the garage, be good to go. So yesterday, I took the hedge trimmer and trimmed up that bush to see whether or not I was going to keep it or not. And then the little clippers, the little battery clipper, I trimmed up the tree and then cleaned off everything off of that fence line. So it works really, really good. So I'll get this out and I'll show you what it looks like real quick. So it's got the safety on it. Got to pull this up before the trigger will work. And it does really, really good. I was worried about it not being very strong, but I had a 20-volt battery and it worked great. It didn't even drain down. Both of these running for an hour and it didn't even drain the battery down. So it's really good. It did a pretty good job of clipping that, because that's not a pretty hedge, it's just a hedge. So it even with the big thick sticks, it didn't bog down at all. So I'm gonna get the chipper out and we'll plug it in and we'll see how it works out. Also picked up a edger, electric edger. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. I got this for 30 bucks off of Facebook. And also got a couple cords from Harbor Freight. And I got a BAUER, a handheld chainsaw. This is for the big stuff over in the corner. It was on clearance for, I think, like 20 bucks. So we'll give this a shot too today. And I picked up a double charger because I have a bunch of batteries, but I can't find my freaking batteries or my charger. So we'll get that on charger, and we'll use that here in just a little bit and go from there. Cool. So my cart's working out really well for work. I brought it home just so I could do a little organization, straighten it up a little bit. Nothing major. I was going to put that add-on shelf bracket on the back, but I left it work, so I'll probably go back and pick it up later on. Here's one really super cool thing I figured out. So sometimes I need a little step up to like work on a light or something like that. So if I click on this and pull forward, and this one, now I have a stand-on platform. That's pretty cool. That works out pretty well. I've got the other attachments in the van. This is working out all right. It's just a little bit tight. Not too bad. I love this idea because if I'm working on something and I need to clean up a mess, I took off the big hose and ordered me a new one for the shop vac. But this works great. It's right here on top. What I use the other one for, it's storage, and in here is where I keep my my little Milwaukee drain snake. It's a trap snake, and then the machine is right there with it. So I keep that in there, and believe it or not, I've been able to do all of my drains, my sinks and my bathtubs. We have a lot of bathtub issues. So I've been able to use that on all of my drains so far. So that's a really good thing, even with those J-traps. So this is working out pretty good. I had to take it out of the van to get my tripod mount. So go ahead and take her out the box. Shouldn't be a whole bunch of assembly. No assembly acquired. Wheels. Oh. Well, that made a freaking mess. Anyways. A whole bunch of silly in there. Instructions. And the pusher. Push stuff down with. We know what that is. That's a shaft for the wheels. So, like I said, the whole point of me buying this was I wanted to chip this stuff up. this tree debris, throw it behind the garage, just for ground cover, you know, because I didn't want to haul it off. So let's give this thing a shot. It's a bunch of green stuff, so let's see if it works on this. Cut it up as you go. I'll stick the whole thing in, see if that works. Pretty good, man, pretty good. I think that's about the max width on that. We'll see if it works. Trim it down a little bit. Don't get your fingers in this thing. It'll eat it. That head's not gonna fit. Too big. little too big, but we'll keep at. Like I said, the whole point in this is all of this greenery, instead of going to the landfill and using it and me having to make a trip to the landfill, I can always trim this stuff up and get rid of it myself. This here is just greenery. I can actually make use this for making what do they call that, compost, you know. But what I'm going to do with this stuff is it's all going to go behind the shed or behind the garage. The whole back of the garage back there is just dirt anyway. It's all over covered, but this can just lay back there and disintegrate, you know. It's not a big deal, you know. It's I think it was 130 bucks for this thing, $129. It's pretty cheap, and it's something that I can use all the time. Well, I can use a lot. I don't want to spend a bunch of money on yard tools, because it's something that you use once a year for this, that, and everything. This yard's kind of overgrown anyways, so the initial, once I get everything cut down, then if I need to chip some stuff up, like those tree limbs back there in the back, just whatever. It's for the money. It's worth the money. So that stuff that I drug around here was just what was off the sidewalk. So I've got to get all of this into the chipper and go from there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I got all that debris up. Started doing some of this. So when you're using it, you just want to keep it small. You don't want to get big stuff. There was a couple of the big items. Overlook this mess. So yeah, there was a couple of big items, and the green, I didn't run through the chipper. Like this is weeds, but it's green. It doesn't do any good, so I'll just lay it there and let it rot on top of the pile. You know, this is all leaves and wood chips, so this will just lay here and rot for right now. So this is all like honeysuckle, so this should chip up really easy. All of this back here is honeysuckle. Back here, this is a freaking mess. All of this is a mess back here. This is all honeysuckle that's fallen, rotted, whatever, bunch of trash. So my whole point is to clean all of this up. You step back out of the freaking bushes. So I'm going to clean all of this up, and then I'm going to mulch this entire area. That's a pretty good area from right here to the corner. I'm probably 20 foot, so it's a big size area. I can tell you this about the chipper, is it does not like pine very well, because pine's real hard bushes. It didn't like that very well. It wanted to kick it back. Of course, it was old stuff. So this right here, I think I'm gonna go ahead and chip it, just so I can clean up the fence line. You know, this is it's just overgrown bush. That's all it is. So yeah, I think that's probably what I'll end up doing. But right now I'm waiting on my lunch to get here. I'm hungry. So yeah, you can take this. If you just lay it down, it'll just go off. And then you gotta hold it down until it beeps. Let go, and then usually double tap. Yep, there it goes. So yeah, this is a really cool device. Let's take it up here real quick and trim something. Of course, we already know we did that. So I'd say that's probably 1 inch. That's probably 1 inch. That's about 1 inch too. So it's best to get it by the hook first. It's best to put the limb right on the hook. That way it's braced. You just put it right there, snap right off. No big deal. It's in a bind. So it's pretty cool. Snaps it right off. This is really worth the money. It's only like 50 some dollars. You know. So it cuts really, really super quick. Even if you just want to trim up some stuff, you know, just take some bushes back a little bit. If you got an overhang, it's pretty quick. So yeah, if you just wanted to like trim it up a little bit, perfect, man. Perfect tool. I really like this. I'm really looking forward to getting that BAUER little hand chainsaw out. See how good that works. But if you just wanted to, you know, just baby trim it, perfect. Now you can get the hand clippers, but why when you got a power? It's all about the tool, bro. Stuff like this is kind of hard to go through that chipper. So if you knock it off real easy, see? So now it's an easy peasy right in the hole. Also, when you trim it off, if you lay all your branches in the same direction, makes it a little easier. So when I get back into the big stuff, I'll get the chainsaw out. My landlord stopped by a minute ago. He saw me out there in the driveway. We were shooting a breeze, and he's getting kind of overwhelmed with his properties he's got, so I might be picking up some side work. Actually, I'm thinking I'd go ahead and start me a home maintenance business. I've been kicking it around. You guys know me. I've been kicking it around for a while, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And I'm only starting out small stuff, you know, just little stuff, maintenance. The reason why is just so that I'm not dependent on one company to pay my bills. Feel me? That's all. Nothing major. And I'm going through Business Toolbox, the same people who made my my logo. It's a good company. I was going to do the whole van wrap and website and all that, but it got too crazy. The van wrap was like $6,000, and I'm like, I don't think so. And I just want to stay small school anyways for right now. So I pick up work off my landlord and my son's landlord, which is somebody I know. And you know, because doing small jobs, you can't make a living at it, you know, unless you're hustling all the time. Like I said, I just want to do a little extra here and there so I can buy more tools. Gotta buy them tools, man. Anyways, this is gonna be an all-day project. That's why I ordered lunch. Just get it over with. Yeah, I miss being able to do videos all the time. But I talked to my dude and at work, my supervisor-ish. And of course, you know, it's a corporate thing. So he said send him a video. He'd let me know what he thought, but he's not into YouTube stuff, so he has no idea what I do. Anyways, it's just filming at work. It just got to be a pain in the rear, anyways. Oh yeah, my ex-boss from the job I had where I was doing all the videos, she called me. I guess her maintenance guy walked off the job. I was like, sounds familiar. Anyway, so yeah, get down there at the bottom. It'll cut it. It'll cut it right off. This is a really, really good tool, man. This is well worth its weight in gold. I really, really like this tool, man. This is nice. It's better and cheaper than the freaking DeWalt or the Milwaukee. My gosh. I mean, they want stupid money for that, man. Same thing. So, need to cut that big stuff. This is a pretty cool tool, man. You get in the dirt, no problem. No problem. That was pretty big. That's at least an inch. So, how about we go get the BAUER Wow, that's a lot. This is why I don't like honeysuckle. It just grows everywhere. Gets all crazy. But we trim that back. And now we'll be able to hit it in the shredder. In the shredder. If I can get it over on. There you go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go get the BAUER real quick and see how that works. Here's the BAUER. It's a little chainsaw. Let's take this out here and see how well it works on some of the lower stuff. I got a couple batteries, so let's go check it out. So we'll take this and cut these branches down. That's about 2 inches. I cut this one down, but it wasn't recording, so it started over. Anyway, so yeah, this is honeysuckle. It's good stuff. You know, let's get this vine. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's worth the money, man. Of course, I got it on clearance for like 30 bucks. And I already had the battery, so why not? That honeysuckle. Pretty easy to cut that stuff. So yeah, I cut a couple of them off. Like I said, it didn't record, so this right here, I will use it to cut the big stuff down. And the Walt wannabe, I'll cut the rest of it down and we'll chip it. Cool. I'm gonna go take a break for a little bit. So I'm gonna decide to just chip it right out here in the bushes, because it's the start of the corner anyway. So I got this all cleared off and start this stuff in there. Cool. Chipper. So this is a pretty good sized pile. Probably doesn't look like it in the camera, but this is about 8 foot long by, I don't know, 4 foot, something like that. The thicker part of it. So I've already chewed up a bunch of it and turned it into that little teeny tiny pile. So this just gives you an idea of, you take this mass and you turn it into that little mass. You know what I mean? So some people might think it's silly to buy this to do this, but you know, I get a little pile of debris. Let me get my foot over. A little bit of debris that I can just kick out like that, versus hauling it to the dump or putting it back in the truck and getting rid of it that way. I'd rather just do it this way. It's a lot easier, I think, but it's a lot. The honeysuckle is really it's all over the place. You know, it doesn't just grow straight up, it goes out real quick. So whenever you're trimming them, you just don't want a big knot like where multiple branches are branched out, because that will kind of jam it up a little bit. You just have to take your time with it. It's not jammed, I just turned it off. So cool, let's get it on, bro. Let's get it on. So I got my first jam up. Take that screw out, which is sitting like that, tip it back, and you see the blade. I disconnect the power. But this is how it works in there. Just 2 blades, and it runs this way. So this is also how you get in there and clean it. So that's what's going down in there. Cool. It was a branch. So just pull it back, straighten that nut up, torque it back down. No big deal. Coming along, man, coming along. Just make sure you get it good down, get it tight. Cool. And then turn it back on. No, gotta unplug it. Power on. So I didn't have it. This has got to be back all the way, otherwise it won't come on. It had a little safety board up there pushing on it, kind of like a stove. There it goes. So that's cool. Anyways, on with the show. So I got a big old hole cut in it. Mulch all this. We get this all cut up. So tomorrow I'll work on clearing this out, and I have found a lot of stuff. Like there used to be a flower bed back in there, and all that back in there. Back in here is where I gotta clean all this up, man. You know, the big honeysuckle there. I'll keep trimming it back. I'm not gonna cut all that out. I'm just gonna trim it back, and then all of this is gonna get cut out. So it's not too bad, you know, not too bad at all. I'll cut these off at the bottom a little closer to the ground, but you can see where there used to be a flower bed or something. There's rocks right here all the way around, just a bunch of weird crap, but we'll get it all dug up and cleaned up. I think I'm gonna leave the bush. I'm gonna clean this up over here, and we'll do mulch all the way around. My next project after this is I'm going to dig this out around through here to get it below the foundation, and then do gravel through here. So like I said, trash cans there, and the wood is going to use for a project we're going to do in the garage. That's the next project. There's always something to work on, you know. So yeah, the chipper did a really good job. No problems with that. And then the two tools, they did a really good job. So we'll probably, this here we're going to burn along with that stuff there. I was talking with my son, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle cut this out and do a fire pit. And then eventually I will do, because you can't see it but it's actually laned. So I'm going to do a deck, square up like a U-shaped deck or a whole deck. You know, it's a deck with the middle of it's cut out. So we do a fire pit there eventually. I'm not in a big hurry to do that. We got other things to do, but on to the next one. Now they got all that crazy stuff. This is where this stuff here was just stuff that somebody trimmed up and just chucked back in there. This house used to be owned by a military guy, but it wasn't all right. So I'm gonna cut this stuff up. Oop, I got stuff right in the mouth. I clean it off a little bit at the ground. See if you can't cut this off. That's pretty cool. So all of this stuff here, we're gonna burn. Hey, Bubble. What's up, Bubble? So this stuff right here, I can cut it up. What's up, Puddle? Or watch yourself. Daddy's got tools. So that's about 5 inches across, you know. I was able to cut it off flush with the ground-ish, you know, close as I can get it. But this is perfect, man. This little tool, this BAUER, this is perfect. Even if I wanted to cut this up. What I'm doing is I'm taking my finger and I'm pushing on the safety and then pulling the trigger. So it's one-handed, pretty easy. Cut this up in little piles. That's pretty cool. Makes you want to cut stuff. Oh, got you, boy. That's a pretty good sized weed or trunk. Now there is no oil feed on this. There's no, you know what I mean? But it did say to oil the chain, gear, whatever. Not I, said the fly. Not I. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool tool. Pretty cool. Plus, this cuts down on the homes for the mosquitoes. Pretty cool tool. Makes all this more manageable. I like how it has the safety guard on top. So if I'm doing this real close to my hand, it keeps me from getting cut. It looks good, man. It's starting to look better. I know it looks like a mess to you guys, but trust me, this looks looking a lot better. I don't know how much farther. I think I'm gonna probably stop at this stick line. The reason why is because I want a little bit of fence cover. You know, I don't want to totally expose myself, but we never know. Just in case you're curious, let's see if it'll cut a 2x8, whatever this is. No problem. You know, I'm thinking about saving that wood, those 2x6s. The reason why is because I could use that to form up a concrete fireplace. Instead of doing wood deck, I could form it. I could use this to form and pour concrete pad. I did that at a property I lived at years ago. When my kids were little, we had a spot in the yard that was just weird, and I dug it out, poured some rocks down, packed it down, and then I formed it out and I poured a concrete pad. It was probably 10 by 10, and then crossed it. And then after it cured up, we decided that we wanted to put a fire pit in the ground. So I went back and cut out the center, dug it out, and we used that for a fire pit. It was freaking cool, man. Cool. Super cool. So I might save these because I can use this wood to do, because there's other wood beside the house, garage that was here when I moved in that was used for concrete forming. And I'm pretty sure this is probably what this was used for. So I'm going to leave that alone. We got a lot of chipping to do. A lot. You could also use this for trimming this up. It's just not as easy as that little clipper. The other reason why I wanted to clean this up is because there was a squirrel running that fence line, and Stella darted up through here, and I was afraid that maybe she'd step on something and cut her foot. All this is honeysuckle. Crazy vine's what I call it. That's what it is. Crazy vine. If I get it up out of my head, out of my line of sight, I don't have a problem with it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I like to keep some of this overhang. One of my thoughts was it'd be a cool spot if this is all mulched out. This would be a cool spot to go and sit in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? Underneath the bush. Hang out under the bush, bro. We'll see what happens. That's an eye breaker. Just gotta be careful, or you gotta be mindful of what you're cutting off. If you're wanting to do like an overhang, Bam. So yeah, see, if I cut this, I'm gonna lose a lot of my overhang. So I think I'll get the snippers out on some of this. Yep. I know this is gone. That's not even attached. Whoa. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut it off. Lose a little bit of my overhang, but that's okay. Watch it now. Crazy weed. Crazy weeds. That's a lot of stuff that's gonna have to be chipped up, man. A lot. So in overall, everything looks pretty good. It's all cut back now. This is all open, you know. You can kind of get a better feel for it. So all of this is gonna get chipped up and chucked behind the garage. I gotta get a rake though. I think I'll just put it on the drop cloth. But yeah, this is gonna look really nice once all of this gets cleaned up, and I'll mulch this whole area. Sweep it up or rake it up and put mulch down. This will be a pretty nice little spot. You never know. Never know. I'll find something to do with it. I just wanted to, it makes the yard bigger, you know, more room for the dogs to run. You know, just looks cleaner versus overgrowth, and that's what it was. So, like this pine limb here, that's got to get cut down. Looks stupid. Clean around the tree. Woodpeckers have been going to town on this tree, so that leads me to believe there's some bugs in that tree. But that's not my problem. Not my problem. Cool. Well, I think I'm gonna take a break and maybe get to chipping. I got it all mulched up. Just show it behind the garage. All the stuff's cleaned up. Now it's all about cleaning up this ground. This is firewood. All of that little stuff is firewood. All this is firewood. So yeah, it's coming along. Not too bad. It's a lot of getting this little stuff up off the ground, you know. And then, like I said, we're gonna mulch all of this. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I like it. Let's take a look at it from the distance. This is all gonna get mulched in. So yeah, that's level. This is not. Get it? So yeah, I'm gonna do a fire pit right there. Cool. On to the next thing.
Tell them who you are if you're living